Hey, what's going on? Here I make this video today. It's actually not bad out. It's about 50 degrees, gray, overcast, scattered rain. To me, that doesn't sound bad. Could be worse. So, one of the things is, when it's kind of crappy out, go do crappy things and get out there, experience life, experience the woods and the outdoors and whatnot. You're not always going to be super comfortable. So, this is resilience training, if you will. If nothing else, you get to see how the woods and wildlife react differently to the different weather types, and that's important, right? So, also, I'll remind the camouflage. This is just M81 Woodland, my multicamish viper-like hood, and then what I have here is just some old airsoft camo I had in the closet. It's probably most similar to like MTD pattern, so it's little more bolder, the multicam and whatnot. But the thing is, if you look around me, there's a bunch of leaves here because it's kind of like a barren spot. But let me see if I can rotate it. If you look around, all the plant life is still green, and there's obviously more brown and strong khaki colored stuff coming out. So I'm a big believer in this transitional phase going from summer to fall. You also want to transition your camo. So I like to start with like a woodland bottom to blend in with the low brush and whatnot, and the green sprouts and everything. And then more of like the multicam, or I suppose you can even do like a desert pattern to blend in with the trees. So you got a mixed up pattern. It's not consistent, and therefore you'll blend in actually better. A good example of this on a movie. Actually, what is it called? The one with Mark Wahlberg with the seals and whatnot. It's gonna come to me in a minute. I'm gonna feel like an idiot. So, anyways, Lone Survivor. There we go. So in Lone Survivor, they're kind of mixed pattern of desert and woodland because they're in the foothills, the mountains of Afghanistan or whatever. Strictly speaking, camouflage, let alone all the behind the scenes stuff. If someone did or didn't do anything, it's not really relevant to this. But the idea is to adapt to your environment and to master it, if at all possible. I was going for a little, woods hiking patrol today. I got my bare hands. I also got some gloves if I need them if it's too wet or starts coming down. I got this hood that comes up, plus this boonie. That'll keep the water off my neck and back. I thought about bringing my backpack, but really just no real need for it. And with that, I probably actually need to take off the mini pack I have on this chest rig, and that would make it a smoother surface area and compact things down a lot more. So anyways, my big passion is doing these woods walks and getting out there. I don't always record when I go out there, so I'm just enjoying everything. But let's talk long range patrol. Long range patrol. So you want versatility, because the idea is you're not making yourself as a known physical presence. You're blending in, you're moving slowly but cautiously and tentatively at times. So the idea is not, I want to say stealth, because I think of like Sandfisher, like the stealth games. But you do want to move subtly, right? So you're not rampaging through the forest with like a saw and all his gear and everything like that. It's probably just your general purpose carbine or whatever. I got mine. This is just like a Midwest temperate forest. So it's not as dark and dense as say like Florida or the subtropics, or if you talk the old Vietnam vets, that era where it's triple canopy. In that case, you would want like a lot of light illumination sources with you, because it's just so dense. And with that thick forest environment, probably a short barrel rifle would actually do you better, because in areas like that, I don't know, if you get a clearing, maybe it's like 50, 75 yards, depending on your area. In this Midwestern type environment, through the woods. Um, yeah, 100 yards, 100 yards, maybe a little over. If you come across the field, obviously farther. But so you have a little more leeway here. So, you know, I would say anything from like 11 to 16-inch rifle is fine, you know, really. You know, 10, 10.5 to 16, whatever. Situation determines it. So, you know, also what you have available. So you're just moving subtly through the woods. You're taking notes, anything out of the ordinary. And this isn't just about the LARP, by the way. There has been recently some reports of people being in the woods, doing stealth camping, which I think is kind of a cool idea, but I'd rather prefer you knock on my door and be like, hey, can I camp in your woods? And you're like, well, who are you? You know, maybe not, but at least, you know, it's a good way to get shot, is what I'm saying. And, you know, they might be backing. I'm definitely backing. So, you know, who knows? So, you know, be cautious in the woods. It's not Bambi. There's always some relative level of danger out and about. So, you know, use your head. Also, if you can, I forget what the site is, but it's like the National something service. You have to look online. There's videos about it, but anyways, the point is you can download a map of your area, you laminate it, then you add some grid squares, and then you can plot the grid squares through the woods and see where your trail leads. Like I have ATAX on my phone here, and you know, it's super handy, but man, it can be really complicated, right? There's so many features to it. It'll be a long time before I figure everything out on that. And so it's good to know where you're going, where you came from, and what to expect. So don't go into the woods without some kind of map, whether it be digital or analog. You know, keep it with you. Also, the weather is important. Like right now, it's fall in Indiana, so scattered showers, that kind of things become more periodic, more often. And you'll learn how water goes down the hills where the trails are, what to expect. Also, you get flash floods sometimes, so you know, be careful of that. It's muddy and slick out, and I don't know if you, some people have never been in the woods. Leaves are very slippery, and rocks are very, very slippery when wet. So be careful out there. Use caution. Use your head. What else here? Nothing too major. I'll probably do another transitional video from fall to winter. We're supposed to get kind of a bad winter this year. We'll see. And here in the Midwest, at least in Indiana, the Illinois area, maybe Ohio, you'll get some snow, like central, maybe up to north, but it's typically not a lot, like maybe 3 to 6 inches in storm. I mean, it depends on the storm, right? But it usually melts not too long after that. So I would probably say if you're gonna wear a snow camo, get a mossy oak or a real tree snow camo, because in design it's white but also has grays and straw, and it looks like corn stalks in the pattern of the white camo, so it actually blend in better, because not everything is like the plains where it's going to be just solid white. There's still going to be shoots of grass and tree limbs and you know, young trees and regular trees sticking out, so you're still going to have brown and lighter colors like that. Not really super dark brown. If you look at a tree, depending on what type, it's kind of like a grayish brown. And so you need to adapt to that. So my advice is don't wear just solid white camo. That's kind of like what a new person coming into this would do. So, you know, Brent0331 does a lot of videos about camouflage. You know, check his stuff out, obviously. In something like that, if it is a bad winter, I would say almost like maybe a multi-cam or regular hunting camo pants. Probably not so much green, but more straw brown colored, and then maybe like the white top and perhaps hat. And also at that point you're starting talking gloves and a thicker balaclava. I got this one here. I'm just using as a neck gaiter. Of course, a boonie won't really do any good in that. So, you know, adapt to the environment as needed. Keep an eye on the weather, guys. This is very important. Also, when shooting, if you go to the range, check your wind for that day, and that'll, you know, determine how much wind is you have on target and whatnot. The same thing applies here in the woods. I'm down in several gullies, so I'm actually really protected by the wind up here, and it's very nice. It's when the wind comes off of you, it's so much more comfortable versus being out in a flat field and just gusting on you and getting like a wind burn or you know, something like that. Anyways, it's all to my video. I'm ranting at this point, but hope everyone has a awesome fall and happy Halloween. And that's it. That's all I got. See ya. Bye.